In today's video, I'm going to give you a complete rundown of the new Westcott FJ800 and the new Westcott FJ400 Mark II. Now, I've been a Westcott user for about the past 4 years now, using their FJ400 Mark Is, as well as the FJ200s and FJ80 Mark IIs for my weddings. Now, since the look and functionality of the new FJ400 Mark II and the FJ800 are relatively the same, I'm just going to go over the FJ800, but just note that everything that I talk about in this video relevant to the FJ400 Mark II, unless I say otherwise. So let's open the box and see what's inside. Now, first things first, we have the FJ800 unit itself. We have the new FJ Pro batteries. We have our bones mount adapter for any of the Westcott softboxes, a shoulder strap so that you can carry the bag over your shoulder, and of course, we have our charging cables. Here at the top of the case, we have our sync cable to be able to do firmware updates with, as well as a little small pack here of gels that can go in the front of your light in order to be able to correct white balance and that sort of thing. Now let's take a look at the actual unit itself. So as we take a look at the new FJ800, you can see that right out of the box, it has a more sleeker, sexier design than with the FJ400 Mark I. And that same design carries over to the new FJ400 Mark II. Now, some of the things that are the same as the previous unit, we still have our 5.5-inch reflector that's detachable in the front. We still have the Bowens mount, or standard Bowens mount for the units, along with the removable frosted glass dome that we saw in the FJ400 Mark I. Now, if we take a look, we still have our modeling light on the inside, whereas the FJ400 Mark I had a 20-watt light inside. The FJ400 Mark II and the FJ800 both have a 30-watt bicolor light on the inside. Now back to the build and construction. The FJ800 is only about 7 pounds, so it's pretty lightweight for the amount of power that you get out of this unit. Down here at the bottom, we have our umbrella holder, which will fit most standard umbrellas, as well as our yoke that is really strong. That was one thing that I really liked about the Westcott products in the very beginning. The yoke on this is extremely strong. So if you put a heavy modifier on this, you don't have to worry about it tipping, like getting loose really easy and tipping forward over time. I've had the units that I currently have for, again, 4 more years now, and all 4 of them are still good to go. No issues with the yoke giving out at all. So now let's take a look at the new system itself. The power button is located here at the bottom, so we'll turn this on. We'll hold it for a second and you'll see this little on indicator. We press this and now the light boots up. As I'm sure you heard by now, the new FJ400 Mark II and the FJ800 both are 100% touch screen. So now you can navigate through all of your menus with just a touch of a finger. The second button listed here is our home button, so no matter what screen you're on, you can always go back to the home screen. Now, the first thing I want to do is go ahead and turn off this beep. So if you hold down the menu button, you can actually scroll down here, go to beep, turn that off, we hit OK, and then head back to our home screen, and now we don't have to worry about that sound anymore. Now in the new system, there are 4 menus. We have menu 1, 2, 3, 4. And here on menu 1, we actually go into our mode and we can select manual or TTL. Next, we have our channel, and lastly, our groups. Now in these menus, you can see that all you have to do is click and drag your finger, and you can set it to whatever parameter you want to set it to. Now if we go back to the home screen, we can see that our power is at the very lowest, which is 1. But if you're someone who likes to use fractions instead of the whole stop numbers, you can just hold down menu here. And in this same sub menu where we turned off the beep, you can actually change your display from decimal over to fractions. And then now you have the fractions in case you're used to that and you want to use that instead. So again, we'll go back to that menu. I'm going to change mine back over to decimals, and then we'll head back to our main menu. Now, these little arrows here we can use to increase or decrease our power. But the cool thing about this unit is you can actually just touch the screen and swipe to the number that you want to get to, and you can actually do this on the decimal side as well to fine-tune your lights, again without having to use a little scrolly wheel. Now as we move on to menu 2, we can see that we can set our sync. Right now it's set to first curtain, but you can move over to high-speed sync, freeze mode, or rear curtain sync. Now one of my favorite features about this new system is that no matter what menu you're on, if you're not 100% sure about what an item is or what it does, they actually have these little help icons in the bottom that give you a full rundown of everything on that page, so you can have a better understanding of how you're supposed to use it. Now next up on menu 2 is our modeling light. Right now it's set to off. We can turn it to on, or we can set it to auto. Right now we're going to move it over to on. We have it on our lowest power, and this is where you can actually change the color temperature of the modeling light. So if we come over here to this third item, which we see is now lit up, it's currently set to 5500 Kelvin, but we can take it to 27, 32, 43, 5500, or 6500 Kelvin, or anything in between, just by using our finger to be able to use the slider and select what we want. But for now, I'm just going to take it back to 5500 and we'll move on. So moving on to menu 3, you see we have mask mode, frames, and sequence. Now these items that are currently grayed out are in association with mask mode. Now truthfully, I've never used mask mode. I'm not familiar with it, but I have seen it in action, and it's pretty cool if you have a complicated lighting setup that would be conducive of using it. So real quick, we'll take a look inside. We turn on creative mask mode, and then now we show our frames. So we would select the number of frames that we have, and here we go into sequence, and you can see the number of sequences that you can have set up as well. So we'll go back, turn this off, and then move on to menu 4. Now menu 4 is where we have our delay mode. If you've never used this before, you can set up your lights to fire X amount of time after you press your shutter button. I've used this a couple times while doing some motion shots with the ballerina in studio, and it was pretty cool to be able to work with. So here you would just hit delay, turn that on, and then set the amount of time that you want the delay to be after the shutter is fired. Last on this menu is the universal lock mode. Once you do this, none of the settings on your light will be able to change at that point, and you have to unlock it in order to be able to change anything. Now, one other thing I wanted to point out is if you see back here on the back of the FJ800, there's a new group light indicator feature. So depending on what group you have your light set to, you can actually change the color. So no matter what, you can look from afar and be able to tell which group your light is on. Now, me personally, I would love to see these implemented on the FJ200s, because as a wedding photographer, knowing which light is which during, you know, a wedding reception or while I'm shooting decor is something that's crucial for me. So much so that I actually put stickers on my light so that I can see it from afar and always know which group each particular light is on. Now we'll power down our light here and check out the new Pro batteries. It still has your battery release here on the top, but you can see that the battery is a lot slimmer than the old ones on the FJ400 Mark I. Now the good part about these is this battery is interchangeable for the FJ800 and the FJ400 Mark II, but you cannot use these on the FJ400 Mark Is. Now, this is the Pro battery, but they do have an extended battery as well that would give you more power. So this battery will currently give you 250 full power flashes on the FJ800, but on the FJ400 Mark II, you'll be able to get 500 full power flashes. And if you need more power, then you can opt for the extended battery that will give you 500 flashes full power on the FJ800. One thing that I do want to note is that on the new Pro batteries, you have your little charging port down here at the bottom. Once you remove this little cover here, you can stick your barrel charger inside, and obviously this is what charges the battery, but you can also plug this back up and plug your charging cable into it so you can use both AC and DC power when you're inside of the studio or some location where you have access to a power source. Now that about does it for the new FJ800 and the FJ400 Mark II. I haven't gotten a chance to actually shoot with these yet. My first shoot with them will actually be tomorrow, so I'm really excited to get them out in the field, test and see how they work. And of course, I'll be posting the results so you all can see what the finished product looks like. And if you're interested in getting the new FJ800 or FJ400 Mark II for yourself, I've included a link down below along with the promo code so that you can get yours at a special price. And if you aren't already, I invite you to join our exclusive Facebook group, which I've linked down below. Come join me and a community of amazing photographers who are looking to work together and help one another grow in our photography careers. So that about does it for this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.